Since it was revealed that Donald Trump did a series of interviews with journalist Bob Woodward and said that he always was downplaying the pandemic, you've had to wonder, once he actually has to answer for that in front of real people, how is that gonna go? So last night was the first time in this town hall that he had to do that. So here you have him being asked a question about that downplaying of this horrendous pandemic.
Oh, hi, my question is, if you believe it's the president's responsibility to protect America, why would you downplay a pandemic that is known to disproportionately harm low-income families and minority communities?
Yeah, well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. My action was very strong. Yeah, because what I did was with China, I put a ban on. With Europe, I put a ban on. And we would have lost thousands of more people had I not put the ban on. So that was called action, not with the mouth, but in actual fact. We did a very, very good job when we put that ban on. Whether you call it talent or luck, it was very important. So we saved a lot of lives when we did that.
There were holes in the ban, and the European ban didn't come for another month.
Okay, so look, he referred, as he has been for months constantly, to the fact that he sort of mostly initiated a ban against travel from China after the virus was already in America. And he does that because that's the only thing that he can point to. And it was the easiest thing to do. The dude was passing travel bans on a monthly basis leading into the pandemic. So that does not actually address her concern at all. That individual wanted to know why he described himself that he was downplaying it. She tried to follow up and acknowledge that it was his words that he did that, and he did what he did. He just talked over her, and she eventually gave up and sat down because he didn't give a damn about her concerns. He just wanted to talk about his ban.
Well, okay, so there's multiple. This one wasn't circulated as much yesterday, but if he wants to talk about how his plan of action was best, he did all these bans on China, and that's actually what happened. Despite what he said he was gonna do with the American people as far as information he's given us with his actions. Okay, fine, he wants to try and that's gonna appeal to his voters who are trying to find something to grasp a hold of, right? That's honestly the objective here, because everyone who understands what he said and did is gonna understand what he said and did, and nothing that he can say now can change it. You just have to explain it, which he won't do, we know that. But the thing that came out yesterday that I'm not sure if the questioner or if maybe even Stephanopoulos brought up, this also happened in April. There's more tapes from the Woodward conversations where he said again, this thing's a killer. You wouldn't believe how easily transmissible it is. He said these things months after he originally said he's gonna downplay it. That's more revelations about how bad this is. But days after having those revelations, that truth to Bob Woodward, he then goes on and tells people that are protesting in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, those several states are around that area. Hey, bring freedom to your country, bring freedom to your states. Congratulations, get out there and fight this stay-at-home orders and the invisible enemies in full retreat. He said all these things days after, acknowledging how easily transmissible and much of a killer this thing is, again. So you can talk about your travel bans, you can talk about your Chinese opposition and how much you want to associate it strictly with them. But we see in more tapes and more audio recordings what you said in private versus what you're telling people to do in public. I don't care about your ban. You're telling people once in April, it's here. So your ban didn't mean anything at this point anymore. So people are going out in the streets to protest this thing being fake, and you're egging that on. Why did you do that?
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to panic people. Okay, don't go out and tell people to purchase every roll of toilet paper, that you can find. That would be a positive way to tell people not to panic. But telling people it's gonna go away, you don't have to worry, no action is needed, is not reassuring. Okay, and even if it were, certainly not the cost of so many additional people that have died. We're surrounded every day with people who don't take the virus seriously. You could draw a direct line to the rhetoric of Trump campaign officials and Fox News hosts on that. We'll be showing you some of those individuals later. And I love that you mentioned, the fact that behind the scenes from one day to publicly the next day, his messaging was completely changing. That's gonna hurt him. And we're at the close of the show, we're gonna have an ad that mashes up some of that. But really fast, just on a fact check. Remember fact checks when facts mattered? He said, I didn't downplay it. I upplayed it. Remember, because he has the best words and the best mind. He's not losing it. Okay, well, let's see. Let's go to the Woodward tapes. What did he actually say? Not in Woodward's words or not anonymous source. What did he say? Here you go.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
Yeah, no, he downplayed it. I always want to be downplaying it. No, sorry, that doesn't look good anymore. Now I upplayed it. I upplayed it. No, you upplay some things, whatever that means. You upplay Antifa, like, because it's not actually a threat. You up it to here and pretend that it is. You do that all the time. The threat of getting cancer from a windmill, for instance, that's not actually a threat, but you upplay it to pretend that it is. That's not at all what you did with this. And she was 100% right to ask that question. You can talk over her and hope that it'll go away, but those quotes aren't gonna go away. They're gonna be in 100 ads between now and election day. And I think it's right for people to be concerned about that. We should be.
So maybe he set up this dynamic where you have to ask him specifically, okay, so you say that your travel ban is the reason why you've saved millions of lives based off of nothing. But so what about what you've told the American people the way they should act once it was already here? Because that was part of the problem. It was already here. As people saw it coming, you ignored it. So once it was here, you didn't do anything about what Americans then have to deal with as it's on our shores. So it's all here. Now, what was your responsibility to tell the American people? So now we got to break it down to this specific. Okay, fine, you can clarify it your way. What did you tell the Americans that were while you downplayed it? Because that's the specific question that he can skirt around as long as he has a limited amount of time just to filibuster for a second and allow the next question to get asked.
Yeah, 100%. And that was hardly the craziest thing he said. We're gonna go to others. I just want to reassure the individual in the chat that said a windmill doesn't cause cancer, John. I know. I know. That's my whole thing, is knowing it doesn't cause cancer. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.